Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Elmhurst City Council for Monday, May 5, 2025 to order. And I ask that you remain seated. Actually, let's do the roll call first.
Okay. Varimus? Here. Bellinger?
Here.
Shanko? Here. Hill?
Here.
Bram?
Here.
Jensen?
Here.
Toludo? Absent. Nudera?
Here.
Nardini?
Here.
Bastido?
Here.
Irby?
Here.
Brennan?
Here.
Levin? Present, 1 absent.
11 present, 1 absent. We have a quorum. At this time, I'd like to have the Elmhurst Police and Fire Honor Guard present the colors.
The election switches.
Prepare to post. Ready. Post. Cover. Ready. Face. Present. On.
And if you'll please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing.
Order. On. Left. Face. Forward. March.
Thank you, and please be seated. Well, this is the part of the program that I know you're not here because of flooding tonight. That's good news. We're here to swear in our newly elected officials, and so first I'm going to ask, I've asked Clerk Tamer to do the honor of swearing me in. A lot of city council I've been going to, they ask for federal or state judges, but to me there's no one more important than our own Clerk Tamer, and so it's my honor to have her swear me in. So I'll join you down there. Joseph Levin, please. Come on up.
Hi. Good to see you, Jackie. Nice to see you. And I finally get to do this. Who do we have here this evening, Mayor?
This is my son, Joseph.
Welcome, Joseph. Thank you for being here. Okay, raise your right hand. I, Scott M. Levin,
I, Scott M. Levin,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois and the Charter laws
the Constitution of the State of Illinois and the Charter laws
and ordinances of the City of Elmhurst,
and ordinances of the City of Elmhurst,
and that I will faithfully discharge the service of mayor
and I will faithfully discharge the service of mayor
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Mayor.
Oh, but don't go away.
Oh, I know.
It's turnabout tonight. So our newly elected city clerk, is this your third term?
Second, but I finished the one.
All right.
A year of that.
You're a strong finisher, okay. if you'll raise your right hand.
Okay, let me put this here really
All right.
quick.
Does she want her kids?
Oh, my family.
Oh, yeah. I forgot, there's a lot of family.
There is.
Bring them all up.
We want them all up?
You sure?
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
come on up, guys.
Anyone who wants to come up that has the last name of Haddad or Tamer or whatever, come on up.
The three of them apparently are taking them.
All right, they're going to take it easy. The uncles and dad are here.
No, Dad, come on. My uncles are
If they want to come up, yeah.
Okay, come on.
All right, Ron, come on, let's, yeah.
Yeah, here's my godfather, so. Okay.
Come right up here. Great seats.
Watch your step. Oh, yeah.
I, Jackie Tamer,
I, Jackie Tamer,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of
and
Illinois,
the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst,
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of Elmhurst City Clerk
of Elmhurst City Clerk
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Emo, we need some of you over here to balance it out, and then you guys stay up here, because we're going to take a family picture at the end here.
Smile, Andy.
This paper just for family.
You're not
Hold on,
excused
hold
yet,
on.
just one without the mayor.
The one that goes in the family book. Dan Curran, and bring up your family as well, please. Come on. Oh, yeah. All right. Second term.
Second term.
All right. Stay low. You want to tell us who you have with you tonight?
Got my parents, my wife, and my kids. James is really excited to be here. Lucas is excited to leave. So yeah.
All right. You ready? Yep. I, Dan Curran. Raise your right hand. I, Dan Curran,
I, Dan Curran,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst,
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of Elmhurst City Treasurer
of Elmhurst City Treasurer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Treasurer.
Yeah.
You ready? Anyone joining Brian Bellinger?
No, not tonight. George sends his best, though.
Oh. It's too bad, because I was ready for George. But you bring it to George. You can hold it like you're George. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
I, Brian Bellinger,
I, Brian Bellinger,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the chartered laws of the the City of Elmhurst,
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of First Ward Alderman
of First Ward Alderman
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I got one for the daughter, too, that's in the back. Brian. All right. Second Ward. Where's everyone? Mr. Hill. Oh, there, Mr. Hill behind the flag. Come up. Been growing over the years. All right, you want to tell us who you have with you?
Yes, I have my wife Amy, my oldest Sam, and my twins Ben and Jack Hill.
All right, well, welcome everyone. You ready? Yep. All right. I, Jacob Hill,
I, Jacob Hill,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst.
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst,
That I will faithfully discharge the duties
that I will faithfully discharge the
of
duties
Second Ward Alderman
of Second Ward Alderman
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations, Alderman.
Good luck, Chris.
Go get him.
Alderman Jensen, you want to tell us who you have with you tonight?
My wife Kate, my daughters Kylie and Tilly, and my son Riker.
All right. Come a little closer here. All right. I, Chris Jensen,
I, Chris Jensen,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
that I'll uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst.
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst.
And I will faithfully discharge the duties
And I'll faithfully discharge the duties
of Third Ward Alderman
of Third Ward Alderman
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations. Did Mike Baker show up? Oh, come on up.
Like his mother. That's why you brought
Mike, you want to tell us who you have with you tonight?
This is my wife, Barb, my niece's son, Stanley, his grandmother, my sister, Sue, and Mark, her husband, Barb, my sister-in-law, and my brother, Ed.
Welcome, everyone. I thought you were going to say you were his granduncle, but maybe, whatever. All right, are you ready? I, Mike Baker,
I, Mike Baker,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst,
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of Fourth Ward Alderman
of Fourth Ward Alderman
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations, Alderman.
Take
Thank you.
Mr. Virgil. How are you?
Just
Ready?
me.
And me.
And you.
All right. Are you ready? Raise your hand. I, Dan Virgil,
I, Dan Virgil,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst,
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of Fifth Ward Alderman
of Fifth Ward Alderman
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
All right, Fifth Ward, congratulations. By the way, you'll join us on the dice here, right? All right. Let's see, first, second, fourth, fifth, sixth. Ms. Bastido.
Wall is still here.
These next two will be smiling because they didn't have any opponents, so. Emily, who do you have with you tonight?
I have my husband, Brian, who always loves an obligation to come to City Hall, my son, Charlie, who's a senior, and my son, Elliot, who's a sophomore, and he raced here from baseball practice.
All right, thank you. Are you ready?
I think so.
All right. I, Emily Bastido,
I, Emily Bastido,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst,
and the chartered laws of the City of
and
Elmhurst,
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of Sixth Ward Alderman
of Sixth Ward Alderman
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations, welcome back. Mr. Brennan.
All these new.
Oh, yeah, it's the flag.
Thank you. I don't think you did, you and your son. Not out here fast.
Mr. Brennan.
Yes.
I think I know who's here, but you tell me.
Okay, all right. My lovely wife Kathy, Sam, and Johnny, both my boys.
All right, welcome, everyone. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. I, Mike Brennan,
I, Mike Brennan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
that I'll uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst,
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I'll faithfully discharge the
of
duties
Seventh Ward Alderman
of 7th Ward Alderman
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations, Alderman.
Thank you.
Sure. Joseph, would you come up here for 1 second? So I was a little remiss before I do the last swearing in. Everyone got a picture with their family except me, and this is the whole reason I invited them. Are you ready, sir?
I am.
I, Andrew Acker,
I, Andrew Acker,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the charter laws of the City of Elmhurst,
and the charter laws of the City of Elmhurst.
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
And I will faithfully discharge the duties
of City Attorney
of City Attorney
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Welcome back, sir.
Twinsies.
Go, Andy.
Honor guard approach. Please stand.
Present. Arms. Order. Arms. Prepare to retreat. Retreat. Left. Face. Forward. Arms.
Have a base.
Halt. Ready. Face. Prepare post. Ready. Post. Recover. Ready. Face. Present. Arms. Order. Arms. Ready. Face. Forward. March.
Please be seated. Before we go into the rest of the city council meeting, we're going to take about a 5-minute break because I know this is, not all of you are going to stay for the entire meeting, so this will give you, the families, a chance to greet their newly sworn aldermen and those who have been here for a while. So we will, what's the word? We'll be in recess. I miss recess. We'll be in recess for about 5 minutes to say till 8 o'clock. Thank you. The meeting will probably, it's a fairly straightforward agenda. We have one topic that may take a few minutes. So if you're waiting around or if you're heading out, we do have some coffee and some treats out there in the lobby. But we'll move back into session. So I'm going to ask Clerk Tamer to call the roll for the new City Council.
Varimas? Aye. Bellinger?
Aye.
Shanko? Here's good.
Here's good, yeah.
Shanko? Here. Hill?
Here.
Graham?
Here.
Jensen?
Here.
Toludo? Absent. Baker?
Here.
Nudera?
Here.
Virgil?
Here.
Nardini?
Here.
Bastido?
Here.
Irby?
Here.
Brennan?
Here.
13 present, 1 absent.
13 present, 1 absent. We have a quorum. Before we go further, I did want to personally thank all the people, all the candidates. I want to congratulate you on winning. I know that there were some hard races out there, so I not only congratulate you, I thank the people, the opponents who maybe they didn't win, but they ran good races and they were well-qualified candidates. So welcome all to the council. I've been going to a number of other communities in my role with the DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference, and they have little tiny councils, like 5 or 7 people, but they talk about the teamwork, and I'm hopeful that we can also make that teamwork work for us as it has in the past. We all serve for the right reason, every one of us. I know everyone here. We're serving for the good of the community. No one's doing it to get rich, I assure you. The decisions of the City Council that we make aren't always what everyone in the public wants. We can't please everyone, but I know that together we make decisions for our city, and we've built a city, and it's developed to one that has so much to offer and is the envy of many others with whom I speak. I was interviewed today by a reporter from Living In magazine, which is a supplement to the New York Times, and there was a question raised. They wanted to talk about Elmhurst, and we did clarify they meant Elmhurst, Illinois, not Elmhurst, New York, but she wanted to know why so many people want to move to Elmhurst and what makes us so unique, and I didn't have to really prepare to talk how much we have to offer: 2 thriving business districts, a 5-star library, train line 25 minutes to either of 2 airports, a university, a symphony, an art museum, a history museum, excellent schools, a relatively crime-free environment where people interact and volunteer at very high levels. So I was very proud to do that interview. Maybe I shouldn't. We'll get an influx of people from New York now, but we'll see how that goes. So we're going to continue to work to make Elmhurst an even greater city, and I look forward to working with all of the council members. So again, welcome. And with that, we'll go on to item 2, receipt of written communications from the public. Clerk Tamer, I'm sorry, we have a few posted.
We do, Mayor. We have 6 posted, but I believe they're in, are they in people's agendas or they're just posted, right? They're just posted. I did receive another one after 5 that'll be posted tomorrow.
All right, is there anyone in the audience that has a written communication that they would like to deliver to the clerk, or written communication? If so, please raise your hand. All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the public forum section of our agenda. So Clerk Tamer, is anyone signed in for public forum?
Yes, Mayor. We have Hunter, I believe it's Springate.
All right, so let me explain to you how it works if you haven't done it before. The microphone that's right to your left there is the one for public forum. State your name. Address is optional. It only helps us get back to you if there's some information we could provide to you. You can speak on any topic you want. You have 3 minutes out of consideration for others who may want to speak and the work of the City Council. When you get to 3 minutes, I'll give you a gentle reminder to ask you to wrap up your comments. So, sir, if you'll approach the microphone, state your name, and thank you for coming out this evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. My name is Hunter Springate. I've been living in Elmhurst for 12 years. My wife, Caitlin, and I have spread our roots here, and we now have 3 children attending school. The issue of short-term rentals is extremely important to us, and it directly affects the safety of my children and our community at large. 3 years ago, my new neighbor moved in, rehabbed the house. He couldn't sell it at the price that he wanted to sell it at, so he immediately turned it into a short-term rental. Since then, our family has had a number of issues. I have a list of 30-plus things that I can go down the list, but I'll just give you the greatest hits. Guests have wandered into our yard. We have a side-by-side driveway, so guests park in our driveway, and I cannot get to work. Guests barreled down coming into our driveway, and one of them almost hit my son as he was chasing after a basketball. I once had to tell a guest to get out of his car because he was sitting in his car for 45 minutes or more watching my kids play basketball in the yard. On Christmas Eve, I was berated by a guest because I wouldn't let his son play in my yard because it's my property and I'm liable. Never mind the frequent parties till 4 a.m. There's many more, but that's not really the only reason why I'm here. I believe that short-term rentals are a problem in certain aspects. But consider this. Our house needed exterior repairs for our front entryway. We decided that we wanted to have it be a little wider than was there before. This required to apply for a variance, post a sign in our yard, and our neighbors had a chance to dispute it. How can we have this much regulation and red tape, yet my neighbor can go in and operate next door as a hotel when we share a driveway? That's crazy. At the moment, the hotel we live next door to has fallen into disrepair. 6 months, the siding blew off from a windstorm. The downspouts off. The trash cans are out until Tuesday the following week. Our trash day is Friday. If we were to sell our house tomorrow, the people that will buy our house have a choice. They will know that our next door neighbor is a short-term rental. We didn't get that choice. The guy just moved out and there was nothing said, nothing done. No doubt my property value has gone down since that, if we were to try and sell. And just the sheer fact that it was even allowed to happen when our driveway is an easement is an egregious oversight. In summary, the residents of this community, we want firmer regulations on short-term rentals, if not banning them altogether. Similar communities in DuPage County have done the same. If the property taxes on my house went up $800 this year, my children deserve to be able to go in their backyard without having a gentleman walk into the backyard. My wife and I deserve to be able to not watch our children like a hawk to ensure that maybe some people we don't know aren't creeping and watching them. Before you guys vote on all this, and I know there's more to come, I just would gently ask, what type of community is this? If a short-term ban is good enough for places like Hinsdale, Lombard, or to have firmer regulations, is the same not true for Elmhurst? Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Next we have Jonathan Keenan. Jonathan Keenan.
Hello, my name is Jonathan, and I am here to talk about the redevelopment of downtown. I am very concerned as a lifelong fourth-generation Elmhurst resident that we are overdeveloping the downtown too fast. Specifically, the corner of First and Addison that is proposed for the new Performing Arts Center. I have seen the plans and the development and am concerned about the traffic flow of pedestrians and vehicles in that area. That intersection is very, very congested already, and the plan is showing lots of parking garages coming in and out right there at the train station, and I'm very concerned for both a vehicular and pedestrian safety if the plan as is were to be approved and go through. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike LaCicero. Mike LaCicero.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. Congratulations, Mr. Mayor, on your reelection, and to the newly elected members of the council. I'm Michael Cicero. I'm here as the chair of the Walk and Rollers to remind everybody that May is National Bike Month. So instead of getting in your cars and driving wherever you're driving, it would be a good idea at least this month, if not more often, to get in on your bicycle or at least walk to your destination. On the same token, also would like to remind everybody that this Wednesday is Walk and Bike to School Day. So anyone that has kids in school, please encourage them to either walk or bike to school. Proud to announce that we have 7 schools in Elmhurst that are participating this May, which is an increase over this last October. Walk and Bike to School Day is a 2-day per year event. So we have 7 schools. We have all 3 middle schools are participating, and we also have 4 elementary schools. We have Fisher, Edison, Emerson, and Jackson. And the last thing, so number 1, 7 is a lot better than October was. I hope there will come a day where I'll be able to stand up here and tell you that every school in Elmhurst is participating in both days every year and throughout the calendar year. So we're hoping to get to that point at some point in the future. Also like to share that Friday, May 16th, for those of you who are able, is also Walk and Ride to Work Day. So those of you who are within walking or riding distance from your place of employment, please leave the car at home. Please either walk or get on your bicycle to your destination. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sherry Fayalko. Sherry Fayalko.
You can pull the microphone down.
Hi, my name is Cherry Fialco. My husband and I are local homeowners. I am a real estate professional, and we care deeply about both responsible property ownership and the economic vitality of our community. We are also proud owners of a short-term rental for the past 4 years in Elmhurst. As short-term rental owners, we take pride in being good neighbors and community members. Our rental serves family members visiting students or moving in their child at Elmhurst College, local residents who are moving in between homes, families who are remodeling their homes, out-of-town guests visiting relatives here in town, or here to attend a wedding, graduation, or baby shower. We host our own family and friends when they're in town, as our home is unable to accommodate them. Now, these people are not disruptive tourists. They are our friends, they are our families, and our neighbors. And they deserve a comfortable and local place to stay. We already have laws in place on the books to address any noise, parking, and disturbances issues. I don't think there is a need for redundant regulation that punishes responsible homeowners like ourselves. In addition, there is no meaningful data showing that short-term rentals are causing harm to our community. We have a handful of isolated complaints, generally tied to a couple poorly managed properties, which could just as easily happen with long-term rentals or even owner-occupied homes. Most importantly, we do not allow parties, we do not promote parties, and short-term rental platform explicitly prohibits them. Responsible hosts screen guests and set clear house rules. The idea that short-term rentals are party houses are a myth that does not reflect reality, especially in a community like ours. Now, if you look at Airbnb rules and regulations, they strictly prohibit parties and disruptive gatherings on their listings. This policy is in place to protect their hosts, neighbors, and communities from disruptions caused by unauthorized events. Now, if you look at their policies, key points of their policies include no parties allowed, no open invite gatherings prohibited, disruptive gatherings are banned, respect for neighbors, host responsibility, guest responsibility, and there are consequences for violations. Now, a couple things I want to say is that there are over 18,000 properties in the city of Elmhurst, and I have verified through multiple platforms there are less than 20 short-term rentals in the city of Elmhurst, and that has been verified on multiple lines, which is less than 0.1% of properties located in our area. In addition, that Airbnb also measures...
You're over 3 minutes, but please take your
Okay.
wrap up if
I'll
you
wrap
can.
this up.
All right.
Now, last thing, I want to wrap it up, that we do bring in tourist dollars and support local businesses. We give every guest a gift card to Brew Point and provide a list of favorite local restaurants, and have quite a few people who thank us for recommendations have enjoyed our town. In general, we're here to support local families, small businesses, and the broader community, and we would not do anything to harm our community, but do everything we can to support it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Dave Thompson.
Good evening. First off, congratulations, Mr. Mayor, on your reelection. Congratulations to those new aldermen that have taken part in a political campaign. I tip my hat off to you for that service. My name's Dave Thompson, longtime Elmhurst resident, born and raised, third generation, right over by the old hospital, well, where the previous hospital, used to exist, off Willow and Schiller. I don't know what ward that is, but I'm in 2nd Ward now, so Alderman Chanko and Hill, congratulations, and I'm sure we're going to talk after tonight. I'd also like to start with thanking Cherry, right? Cherry Hunter. I think it takes a lot to stand up here right now, and especially to have a written, prepared, offering. I think it's really awesome to take part in this process, and so thank you so much for preparing your statements and coming up here to share. Anecdotally, I'm just going to share the fact that I live across the street from a short-term rental. That's a topic I'm up here to speak about tonight. My wife and I have not been happy ever since that became a short-term rental. It was a house for a very nice couple that retired. They sold about 3 years ago, and then it turned into a short-term rental by an investor that was purchased. So this, we did some of our own research, and we know that it is a real estate investor, and they don't live in the town, and they don't have the same connection that you shared tonight that you have. So it just doesn't have that touch. It doesn't have that element of management over it that you shared that you do. So I appreciate your efforts, but I think that it's evident that not all owners of these short-term rentals actually do share or commit the same level of management and care that you've exemplified tonight. You shared a lot of great examples of the issues you're having. Just to highlight a few that we're experiencing as well, definitely the parties. Elmhurst, Mr. Mayor, you opened tonight with talking about how there was a comment, I think in a journalism piece, about how awesome Elmhurst is and how it's a great town. I lived in California for 7 years, and we avoided the sun and left the sun and moved back to Elmhurst, Illinois weather. So we know how awesome it is, and everybody works really hard and pays a lot of money in taxes to live in this town. All of us are no stranger to that tax bill, and I think it's just, we want a nice, safe place to come back to in our community. I think everybody deserves that, as has already been proven tonight. But, we can't have that if we've got these folks that are entering our town that just simply don't have the same level of care and investment into the city as the rest of us. And while I do appreciate the business aspect, I do appreciate the investment aspect, I do own long-term rentals in this town as well. I offer those long-term rentals a year and longer because I know what Elmhurst is, being born and raised here, and I like to offer that for people who want to be interested in the town to come and move here, live here for a little bit, at least for a year, before they get their wits about them and figure out where they want to stay and where they want to live, and maybe possibly Elmhurst is their permanent residence. But, at any rate, I would say that the amount of problems that we've had ever since, for about 3 years, the juice isn't really worth the squeeze. I've actually kind of weighing my options here. Got a couple houses in Elmhurst. I don't need to live in Elmhurst. I don't, frankly, need to live in Illinois.
You're over 3 minutes, but
thank you. Right. But for someone third generation to be considering now leaving Elmhurst and maybe looking at a Hinsdale or somewhere that has this type of rule, I think that says something. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you both, Cherry, Hunter, and everybody else sharing. Appreciate it.
Rhonda Diab.
Good evening. My name is Rhonda Diab. My father lived here in the 80s and 90s. I commend this young lady for how she is running her Airbnb. But not all of the Airbnbs are ran like that. I live next door to an Airbnb. I've lived here 12 years. I just moved to a new property 3 years ago. And during that time, the property next to me has turned over. It was owned by an investor who rented, but now it has turned over to an Airbnb. And they have different people coming nightly. They have rented to some good renters, but they do not take care of the property. I clean up their garbage. Let's see, sorry. It has made my life difficult because I do not know who is next to me. It is noisy. I'm cleaning up garbage all the time. I've had fight dogs next to me. I've been woken up in the middle of the night on almost every weekend. And there are loud cars going in and out. There are blocking of the street going, so I have to sometimes go around the other way to even get into my driveway. So I'm hoping, we all know that Elmhurst is a great community. Everybody wants to live here. We all pay very good taxes. We all love it here. But lately, my life is miserable, and at this point, I sort of want to move because I don't feel that my voice has been heard with the short-term rentals. I also live next to somebody who rents their garage at 4 hours at a crack that plays loud music, and that, which is a recording studio. Lately, that person has not done that, but I just don't feel that there is enough being had, and short-term rentals have not been good for us. For somebody like that who manages it and can do a great job, that is wonderful. But for me, that is not happening next to me. Thank you.
Next is Laura Worley. Laura Worley.
Good evening, all. I'm going to try to go shorter than 3 minutes, so I'm going to buzz through my reading here, please. Good evening. I'm Laura Worley, 442 South Fair Avenue, also known as Senora Worley. I taught at Hawthorne for almost 20 years. I was the very fun Spanish teacher. Hi to Mike Baker. I voted for you. He's my new guy. Thank you for serving our town to everyone. I can't imagine wanting this job. I've trusted you all to make good decisions. Need a new library? Yes. Need a police station? Okay. Need a park district center? Oh, yes, please. Need a beautiful building and a performing arts center? Great. Need another enormous building uptown? No, thank you. Quick history of Old Senora. Everybody here is like fourth generation. I caught that tonight, and I am too. We could probably turn this into a game. Raise your hand when I name your neighborhood. I grew up here. Family came to Emery Manor. Who's in Emery Manor? Which ward is that? Nobody? Come on. You're not going to play? Okay. Family came to Emery Manor in 1958, Oak Street. Moved to a different house, 338 Oak Street. Then to Hillcrest, then to Maple, then to Hill, then to Armitage. Married my Elmhurst boyfriend and bought our house in 1986. York High School, class of 1975. Now we live on Fair Avenue and have been here for nearly 40 years. Husband Tom grew up near Eldridge Park. They also moved to Elmhurst in the 50s. Good God, that was a long time ago. We raised 3 kids here. Our daughter is raising 4 boys here, and my oldest wishes he could move back to Elmhurst to raise his children. He lives in Virginia. Until Gigi died, we had 4 generations here. So I guess it's safe to say we love Elmhurst, and I've lived in just about every area of town. We love the idea of the Performing Arts Center, but we love the first proposal, that beautiful building. We are here to ask, how do we go back to that original plan? The first plan showed an attractive building which would be a great addition to our city. Then the new drawing was, oh my God, good God, what a difference. Massive and tall and not attractive. I sat at Courageous Bakery and said, oh no. I sat behind the club and said, heck no. Are there any kids here? Are there? I don't think so. I compared it to the Mark in the Addison Street parking garage and said, hell no. We have to stop this. Your plan would dwarf these structures. Ugh. How can we go back to the original plan, to the building, the attractive building? We don't want to be swallowed up by these huge buildings. It's our chance to really shine to people from outside of Elmhurst, to go by on the train and say, wow, Elmhurst looks like a great place. Should I form a committee to fight this? There are many people in town who share my opinion. Let's work together as a community to do what's best for all. It's our opportunity to do something architecturally significant. Thank you, and please be sure to look at both drawings and decide which one might be better. Thank you.
Next is Ryan Lettner.
Hello, Council, and congratulations. I think as evidence of the swearing in tonight, we saw all of your families, and we saw how wonderful it was and the connection that all of us share here in Elmhurst. This is a wonderful town with a lot of great families. And I think that ultimately I'm talking about short-term rentals tonight, and I've attended the committee meetings and spoke at all of the committee meetings. And my wife and I live at 550 South Edgewood Avenue in Elmhurst, and we have a Airbnb VRBO property that popped up next door to us. It's been operating for about 1.5 years or so, maybe a touch longer now. We've had a countless number of issues and 911 calls. In fact, the last one we had was 2 weekends ago, and we called in regards to about 15 vehicles that were pulling up to a 900 square foot Airbnb VRBO property. And piling in DJ tables and chairs and bringing everything into the property, you name it. And we called 911 and we said, hey, you know, all the driveways are being blocked. They're parking everywhere. You know, this is just a mess. And there's a ton of people coming into the house. And, you know, what can we really do? And the 911 operator told my wife, well, that's what Airbnbs are for, miss. You have a party there where you don't want to have a party at your house. And my wife was aghast at what she was told. And, you know, at the end of the day, I think that we all need to step outside of our own shoes for a second and what we use Airbnb and VRBO properties for, because I think all of us probably use them, right? When we go on vacation or we go to a beach town or go, for a wedding or something like that, and we want to get together with a couple of friends and take a house, and it's more comfortable that way. And we do it ourselves. We have twins that are 2 and a 4-year-old, and we need the ability to have a full kitchen and things like that. However, we're not renting them for 24 hours. When we go somewhere and we want to need to utilize a space like that, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days or more. When we need to go somewhere for a day and rent a room for a night, we go to a hotel, and there are hotels that are around us. So that's one point. 2 has to do with the fact that, you know, you've done a lot of work on the report that you've put together. And there are some really good things in there, like occupancy restriction that I saw in there is wonderful. Minimum stay requirement is something I beseech you to take another look at. And please look at it, a 3 to 7 day term. I mean, everyone around us is doing around 30 days, some 90 days like Hinsdale, others are indefinite. I don't have a problem with having Airbnbs or VRBOs in our neighborhood, but I'll tell you that, like, this is not someone's second home. This is not someone's vacation home. This is not a property that they own and live in maybe a week or two or a month or 3 months and use as a summer home, and therefore take care of the property accordingly. This is a property that is rented on a nightly basis, and I can guarantee you...
Sir, you're over 3 minutes,
Okay,
so
no
please wrap
problem.
up.
I'll wrap it up. I can guarantee that there hasn't been a single renter of this property in the last 2 years that's come in for a college graduation or come in to visit their family. This is 100% usage, 99% usage, because we look at every time someone's coming to rent that house, we know when they're coming in. That usage is always for some kind of a party or accessibility to the city and rented out by a ton of people. And we've got to figure out a better way and a better means so that we can raise our family without looking over our shoulder and raise a healthy family here before we decide to move.
Next is Lydia Herney. Lydia Herney.
Hi, my name is Lydia Herney, and I'm the resident of Elmhurst for 26 years, and I'm also here to discuss the same issues that you guys having. Unfortunately, it happened again, as you have the same thing. I'm the one who has got the same situation about 4 or 3 houses away from me. And it started having issues such, that we couldn't sleep. We could see cars coming to the rental place. They were parking all over the neighborhood, destroying the area around. And I started thinking, oh my gosh, what is going on? All of a sudden, instead of the beautiful house that we had, started being sold to the people they have money. This is not the medium family neighborhood. Member family neighborhood is for me, for you guys, for children. They are grown in Elmhurst. I remember when I moved up there to the area, we are raising kids. Well, I enjoy to be a grandmother right now to my son, to the neighbors. You guys enjoy that as well. But I can't enjoy that anymore when I see what's going on in the neighborhood by us. Those houses, they are being bought and they are being sold after 3 years, 4 years, because you know what? People are scared. People are scared being up there because you know what? Why my neighbor, all of a sudden, good neighbor, is selling the house in 3 years? It's not because the house is too small. No, because the neighbors next door or the next, house a few houses away is different neighbor. We need your help, guys. I remember I was just reading that the city of Elmhurst is committed to help people who are living over here, worker families, like businesses. Are you helping people who are living over here or businesses? I would like to know that because, so far we've noticed that we're not getting a lot of help as families. You trying to help businesses. This is my understanding because business is just that house that is renting. And this is for the short term. Please help us. Because, I agree. I tried to make a long story, but I couldn't. I was listening what he said. But, help us, please, because who should we go to? I can pray to God, but he's not coming down. You're here for us. Because I remember when I bought the house 25 years ago, 6 years ago, and the next door rental house, which is still rental, started doing the business in the garage, and they started kickboxing up there. I came to the city hall, and you know what happened? I can tell you what they told me, and to my husband. They said nothing could be done because that's a gray area. Gray area. There are guys coming.
You're 3 minutes, so I ask you to wrap up, please.
Sir,
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Nothing was done at that time. Please, don't say to us right now, nothing could be done, because you can do a lot. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Brian Cahill.
Hello, my name is Brian Patrick Cahill. I live at 142 South Kenmore. I want to congratulate the mayor, Clerk Tamer, and all the city council members that have just been reelected, and especially Alderman Virgil and Alderman Baker, who took my spot. You two are with a really talented group, and I look for some great things to come out from you guys and the team here. So just say best of luck and have a good evening. Cheers.
All right, that's the end of the list of those who signed up to make public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make public comment but didn't have the opportunity? So raise your hand. We see one. Sir, if you will. Two? All right, well, let's start on the left here. Okay, he's deferring to you in the middle then. Please state your name and you have 3 minutes.
Good evening. I'm Bob Brown from North Geneva in Ward 4. Didn't plan to be here tonight, but a few neighbors were chatting me up on this topic of short-term rentals. I don't have an eloquent story like many of you, and I thank you for your public comments. Thank all of you for your public service.
Sir,
I just want to raise
just get a little closer to the microphone because we're recording.
Is that better for you?
All right. Beautiful.
Check, check. Okay. So I don't have an eloquent story. I tip my hat to you all who have managed Airbnb as owner-operators in a mom-and-pop fashion, clearly have roots in the community, are committed to providing a good service and maintaining a good environment for all. I live in an area that several years ago had a short-term rental situation that was abominable. Involved things that I won't even get into much detail on here tonight. Thankfully, due to the efforts of our alderman and city council and the mayor at the time, that situation was resolved. But I will say it was a lot of hard work. So the questions that come to mind for me, and I throw them out to you, council, are in its report, has the city council considered the corporate structure of entities that are conducting business with respect to these Airbnbs? I fully support mom and pop enterprises, folks that might own a vacation property or a property they live in for part of the year and choose to rent it out, and they have roots in the community. But it sounds like, and I don't have the data, but a lot of these are really commercially operated entities, whether LLCs or other forms of corporations. The question is, most of our town is zoned as residential. Do we permit commercial enterprises to operate in residentially zoned areas? And if so, what steps do those enterprises need to take to be permitted to operate in such areas? Do they need to receive a waiver? What steps do they need to go through? Secondly, should Elmhurst be choosing to permit commercial enterprises to operate in this fashion? What kind of registration or application process do we require them to go through? What fees are paid? Are there background checks? And are those processes in keeping with what we expect other commercial enterprises to do to operate in our city? Thirdly, if a commercial entity owns and is engaged in short-term rental of properties in Elmhurst, what tax do they pay? I know my real estate taxes this year went up by over $1,000. I love the town, or the city. I'm from out east. And we have great services, a great sense of community. I'm raising my children here, and I'm willing to pay my fair share. I ask, what are we asking? And I'm sure the locally owned and operated Airbnbs are chipping in and doing their part, but many of these are owned by folks that are not present, aren't in the town, might not even be in the state. So have we considered some form of a tax, a hotel tax or other form of tax to generate revenue to offset the costs that we heard a little bit about tonight, repeated police calls, perhaps emergency services calls and the like? I don't want to be put in a position to have to pay for the expense of someone else's commercial enterprise.
Sir, you're over 3 minutes, so please wrap up.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, good evening. My name's Sean Proctor. I'm an Elmhurst resident, and as much as I don't like to show my age, I've been here for over 25 years when I was in high school. The only 4 years that I didn't live in Elmhurst was when I served in the Marine Corps, and then 3 years when I was in law school. So I chose to come back to Elmhurst and raise my family here for a reason. The reason is because of what everyone has been sharing about today. about the safety of the community, about the vibrancy of the community, about the business atmosphere of the community, and frankly, just the family environments that this community allows, in part because of the stewardship of this council and the residents who live here. I'm here to talk about the short-term rental issue as well. I've been to some of the subcommittee meetings and shared some of my observations too. I don't have much more to contribute to what's already been said. We are your eyes and ears for what's going on around us in our neighborhoods. I realize it's not every Airbnb, but it sounds like there are several Airbnbs that are posing problems to the local neighborhoods, including the neighborhood that I live on. I have 3 kids. They're 5, 11, and 16. We have all witnessed some of the problems and parties that go on at the Airbnb that's 2 houses away from us. Everything from drugs to drinking to people walking in and out of the house half naked to loud music. And it doesn't matter if it's 2 p.m. in the afternoon on a Saturday or 2 a.m. in the morning. There doesn't seem to be much bounds for this particular property. It's an 1,100 square foot property, and it bills itself on Airbnb to allow 14 guests to live in that place for whatever they want to do. I live in a 24 square foot property. I can barely fit 14 people in my house for a family function. I don't know how this Airbnb is doing it. When you look at the pictures, it's clear that there are bedrooms in the basement. It doesn't appear that there's a safe egress there because there are no windows, yet they bill themselves to allow this many people there. So I concur with much of the comments that have happened and would plead with this body to really consider reasonable, responsible use for these types of properties. I don't think we want to be the community to wait for a headline to happen, because it will happen if we don't take proactive action similar to some of our neighboring communities. Thank you.
All right, did I miss anyone? I'm going to close. That's your hand? Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. My name is Dan Heck. I'm at 409 West Avery, a neighbor of Rhonda's. Just 2 quick points. One is the amount of intensity of any one property can be exploited by social media. So if there's a vulnerable property, then all of a sudden that thing can get advertised very quickly. So that's one thing for the owner. You only need one negligent owner in a neighborhood like that, and it goes wild. And the second one is that that number of how many VRBOs there are in Elmhurst, I'm curious to know. Is it 20? Is it 250? I would like that kind of verification too. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. All right, I'm going to close public forum at this point, and we'll go on to item 4 on the agenda, which is announcements. Are there any announcements from the dais? Alderman Varamus.
Thank you, Mayor. So one of my favorite events of the year, Saturday, May 17th, will be the annual Spring Road Pet Parade. So please come out and support that event. It's great. It's family friendly. There will be crafts, face painting. The parade, it starts at 11:30, but the parade will start at 1, and there'll be awards for best costumes for your pets, and peanut butter licking contest, puppuccinos, all kinds of family fun for your families, your kids, and your pets. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other announcements? I usually don't, but I will comment on public comment. I appreciate that everyone was so respectful and prepared and had thoughtful comments. It's probably an interesting collection of public comment where people have prepared in advance, so thank you for that. No other announcements. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Clerk Tamer, please read the consent agenda.
5.1, minutes of the regular meeting of the Elmhurst City Council on April 21st, 2025. 5.2, executive session minutes of the regular meeting of the Elmhurst City Council on April 21st, 2025. 5.3, accounts payable, May 5th, 2025. $1,786,486.32. 5.4, committee appointments, 2025 through 28, Mayor Levin. 5.5, report case 25 ZBA 04, Mastrino rear yard variation, 757 South Parkside. 5.6, report Referral Historic Preservation Ordinance and Historic Preservation Commission. 5.7, report Elmhurst TV production services. 5.8, an ordinance authorizing the City of Elmhurst to waive bidding and purchase one 2025 Ford Expedition special service vehicle for the city's fire department and authorizing the disposal and trade-in of one 2008 Ford Expedition special service vehicle. 5.9, a resolution to approve and adopt the Elmhurst Improvement and Renovation Business Grant Program. 5.10, a resolution to approve and authorize the execution of a professional design engineering services agreement by and between Bravo Company Engineering, Inc. and the City of Elmhurst for the Cayuga Avenue Reconstruction Project, Phase 2. 5.11, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a professional construction engineering services agreement between the City of Elmhurst, Illinois, and Gewalt Hamilton Associates, Inc. for the Alma Avenue roadway reconstruction project. 5.12, a resolution to approve and authorize the execution of a professional engineering services agreement by and between Clark Dietz, Inc. and the City of Elmhurst for the 2025 water main improvements project construction phase services. And 5.13, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a professional engineering services agreement between the City of Elmhurst, Illinois, and Baxter and Woodman, Inc. for the 2025 wastewater flow monitoring assistance project. And 5.14, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of the Third Amendment to the contract for biosolids removal and land application services with Stewart Spreading, Inc.
Right, I'll note that 5.4, the committee appointments are, of course, for 25 through 27, not 28. Is there any item on the consent agenda that any alderman would like to remove, either to vote against or for further discussion? Alderman Virgil?
5.2.
5.2. All right, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda less item 5.2? Alderman Virgil with a motion. Alderman Schenkel with a second. Clerk Tamer?
Varimas?
Aye.
Bellinger?
Aye.
Shanko?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Graham?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Toledo absent. Baker?
Aye.
Nudera?
Aye.
Virgil?
Aye.
Nardini?
Aye.
Bastido?
Aye.
Irby?
Aye.
Brennan?
Aye.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent.
13 aye, 0 nay, 1 absent. The consent agenda passes, minus item 5.2. May I have a motion to approve 5.2? It's an easy one. Alderman Brennan? Alderman Jens with a second. I think we'll go right to Alderman Virgil since you pulled it.
Yeah, I just pulled it because the executive session happened before I was sworn in. I wasn't in the meeting, so I can't really comment on the minutes.
You'd be voting, do you intend to vote present? All right, that's fine. Anyone else? Alderman Baker?
Yes, I would like to do the same since I was not sworn in at that point.
All right, very good. Any other discussion? Then I'll ask Clerk Tamer to call the roll on 5.2.
Varimas?
Aye.
Bellinger?
Aye.
Shanko?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Graham?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Toledo absent. Baker?
Present.
Nudera?
Aye.
Virgil?
Present.
Nardini?
Aye.
Bastido?
Aye.
Irby?
Aye.
Brennan?
Aye.
11 ayes, 0 nays, 2 present, 1 absent.
11 ayes, 0 nays, 2 present, 1 absent, 5.2 passes. We move on to committee reports. Item 6.3, report. Clerk Tamer, please read the report.
Therefore, the Public Affairs and Safety Committee recommends the City Council approve the business regulation of short-term rental activity at residential dwellings as outlined by this report, and that the city attorney be directed to prepare the necessary documents to adopt these regulations by ordinance. Signed, Alderman Michael Brennan, Chair, Alderman Jacob Hill, Vice Chair, and Alderman Guido Nardini.
We appear to have lost 1 and 2. This is actually 6.1. But you have a motion by Alderman Brennan, second Alderman Schenko. Alderman Brennan.
Thank you, Mayor. You stole my thunder a little bit. I really appreciate the respectful public comment tonight. One of the disadvantages that the city has right now is tons of information with respect to Airbnbs, VRBOs, et cetera. That is clearly one of the challenges, and you bringing your stories is very helpful. This, for example, started, with a referral from Alderman Irby and myself. It was an incident back in the 7th Ward last May. Long story short, a homeowner rented their home and the renter put it on Airbnb. An incident occurred. Elmhurst police was called and they handled the situation. That said, that was a very inappropriate thing to have happened that evening. A chronic nuisance letter was issued. The homeowner terminated the agreement with the renter and it's no longer an Airbnb. That's a good thing. Alderman Irby and I felt a referral was very appropriate. So one of the first things that we did was staff collected a lot of information regarding what surrounding communities were doing with respect to short-term rentals. Results range from doing nothing, just open, do whatever you want, regulating them to the extent that they are in essence forbidden. For example, 30 to 180 days minimum stay, establishing a framework to allow them yet regulate them with the goal of protecting homeowner rights, but ensuring public safety. You know, before proceeding, the committee, we wanted to establish a problem statement. So problem number one, we do have limited data on the number of short-term rentals in Elmhurst. I've heard 20 here tonight. I've heard there's not a definitive answer. It's hard to pin down. So that lack of data is troubling. We don't know the true volume, and we don't know who the operators are in these rentals. That's very problematic. Problem number two, we don't have any short-term rental regulations in place. Therefore, Elmhurst's only lever is to correct bad behaviors through our existing chronic nuisance ordinance. And even though that worked in the 7th Ward last June or July, whenever they decided to not be an Airbnb, chronic nuisance alone is not the way to go. So I want to highlight some of tonight's report. So for example, a short-term rental license is required. And it can be secured for $25. We wanted to keep it at a nominal fee because we want Airbnb owners, we want VRBO owners, et cetera, to come and secure that license. Otherwise, they are not permitted by the city to do to be a host on either of those platforms. So they'll only be granted to the property owners of the rental. Every short-term rental shall be subject to inspection for safety and building code compliance. Totally agree. It's unacceptable to claim a bedroom in the basement without the proper exit criteria for safety. Short-term rental operators shall keep a register of their guests, their arrival/departure dates, and make such registration available to officers of the City of Elmhurst. Every short-term rental must have at least $1 million of host protection insurance. Short-term rental occupancy will be limited based on the number of bedrooms. This is detailed out in the report for those on the dais, and those that are interested, it is on board docs. The framework allows Elmhurst to define owners of short-term rentals found in violation of any of these codes, and that's just a subset of the report. There are additional codes that are in the report, and most importantly, revoke or suspend their short-term rental license. So if they do not comply with the criteria laid out in this ordinance, we can revoke their license. And that will prohibit them from using their home as a short-term rental. In summary, this framework will generate real data for us to understand short-term rentals in Elmhurst. This data might lead to future tweaks to the framework. This is, regardless how the vote goes tonight, what we do. This is a step in a journey that we do need to figure this out. And as chair of Public Affairs and Safety, I'm committed to figuring this out in conjunction with the balance of the committee to my left and the rest of the council. So this framework will also set the proper expectations we have of short-term rental operators. You know, we have evidence of one operator here tonight, totally get it. You know, that's how an Airbnb should be run, and the expectation is that all Airbnbs have that same thoughtfulness. This framework should also provide the city with more tools to manage bad behavior. So in addition to the chronic nuisance, we have the ability to fine, we have the ability to revoke these licenses. In essence, you know, putting that property on a no rental list. So we did discuss the potential of collecting taxes from these rentals, you know, similar to hotels and motels. You know, however, you know, this will be discussed at a later date. We need more data. We just need to understand what the volume is, and what is the pattern here in Elmhurst? Is the pattern, you know, 1-day rental? Is it a 3-day rental? Are there 7-day rentals? What is the volume of revenue that's being generated on an annualized basis? So we also had numerous discussions regarding the number of days, the minimum number of days. We landed on 24 hours or 1 day for numerous reasons. Elmhurst is not a tourist destination. We're not Napa Valley. You know, there aren't people coming to Elmhurst for a week to see something or to do something. Therefore, it's believed a 7-day or longer rental is less common. It's certainly common. I mean, there could be short-term rentals for a month as well. I heard some use cases, and as the more and more we discuss the topic, I think we get smarter and smarter with what's going on. And you know, for me, it's a lot easier to understand when you hear these use cases. But we do believe a 1-day, 2-day, 3-day rental are probably more common, you know, because of Elmhurst University, because of the hospital, because I heard weddings. You know, there are a number of reasons that people are coming in for a long weekend, and it's something less than 7 days. So we didn't necessarily out of the gate want to limit this so much that we're really alienating a lot of the business with respect to, you know, the good short-term operators. So we do want to put code in place that does limit bad short-term operators. So that's really the objective with this framework. Now, you know, I feel we're taking a very measured step in the right direction. You know, the next 2 years, I have been appointed chair, thank you, Mayor, of Public Affairs and Safety, and I'm planning on, and this may be news to the chief. Sorry, Chief, it's a little different than what we agreed to, but I'm planning a quarterly review at the committee level to assess the effectiveness and where we are with respect to operationalizing this framework. So we still will have work to do regardless of what the vote is here tonight. As I stated earlier, we're not the first community to establish this type of framework. So there's probably lessons learned from places like Oak Park, you know, Berwyn, Timley Park. You know, they have Prospect Heights, you know, just to name a few. They've implemented something similar. So we'll continue to learn here locally. We'll continue to learn with those who have implemented a similar framework. And I want to, you know, first off, thank the Chief McLean for your leadership, you know, with this, the content and this topic. I'd like to thank Don Sereno and team, you know, for their, guidance with vetting, what's legal and what's not and what's possible. And that legal perspective is very important, with respect to this topic. So, Mayor, at this time, I would normally ask for support. However, between the committee vote and the report before us today, I've had numerous questions from aldermen, which have prompted 2 small amendments that I'd like to make for the report. So if I could.
All right, I think for this type, do you want to do them separately or do you want to do them together?
I was going to do them together, but whatever is appropriate.
I think, let's see, why don't you make the motion and the amendment together, and if we have to divide the question, we'll do that.
All right.
So your motion.
So should I go through it, or?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
If you want to explain it first, or if you want to make the motion.
I'll explain it first.
All
right. All right, so in the report, of which I have right here, and this is on the dais for everybody. So on in the report, one of our newest aldermen, Virgil, you weren't an alderman at the time, so I guess resident Virgil at the time, brought to my attention, or had a question with respect to item C on page 2. And frankly, after looking at this more, I totally agree with his question. And C, as it reads in the report today, it says, no short-term rental operator may rent or lease for any period shorter than 24 consecutive hours. And so Alderman Virgil brought up the logical point of normally you check into Airbnbs at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, whatever it might be, and you can never check in early, but you're expected to check out on time at 11 o'clock. So if that's how the rental were to occur, every one of those one-night rentals would be legal because it's rented for less than 24 hours technically. So taking this out makes a lot of sense to me because of just the nature of the operation. That said, if you look at item D, no short-term rental operator may rent or lease the dwelling either whole or in part, more than once within any 24-hour period. So that takes care of it all. So this is the example of, I've heard of pool parties or whatever, takes care of the example of that nightly rental checking out at 11 a.m. and someone else isn't coming in until 3, that window of 11 to 3, they're not allowed to rent it again for some sort of, party or happy hour or whatever. So the first proposed amendment is to strike, no short-term rental operator may rent or lease for any period shorter than 24 hours. And the reason for that strike is because it's comprehensively explained in item D. So that's the first one. The second one was with respect to item F in the report, and it currently states, as signed by the committee, no short-term rental operator may provide food or beverages to any guest. When you literally interpret that, it's like, oh, well, they can't leave a welcome basket or they can't leave a bottle of wine to, as part of just a, nice thing. Well, I read that, and technically they wouldn't be able to the way it's stated. So I'm looking to strike that in its place, replace this new language. No short-term rental operator may provide food or beverage service. So what we're trying to avoid here, and this is a Department of Health issue, we're trying to avoid, the host, preparing food and giving it to them, or providing beverages to the renter. So I think this clarifies the true intent, and as it goes for everything in a report like this, when it turns into an ordinance, all the proper legalese will be vetted anyways, and will be represented with the spirit in which it's represented in the report. So I'm not necessarily wordsmithing here, but I want to make sure that the spirit of our intention is clearly documented in the report. So with that, those two changes, I'd like to make a motion to amend the report with those two changes.
So the motion is to amend the report by deleting item C on page 2 and changing item F on page 2 to now read, no short-term rental operator may provide food or beverage service. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is there a second on that motion? Alderman Schenk with a second. Discussion on the amendment, not on the motion, on the amendment. Right, I'm going to call for a vote on the roll call on this, don't we? Roll call. Okay, I'm going to ask Clerk Tamer to do a roll call on the amendment.
Verimas?
Aye.
Bellinger?
Aye.
Schenko?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Bram?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Chuluto absent. Baker?
Aye.
Nudera?
Aye.
Virgil?
Aye.
Nardini?
Aye.
Bastido?
Aye.
Irby?
Aye.
Brennan?
Aye.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 present. The amendment is adopted. Now on to the main motion. Discussion on the main motion.
I have one
Sure.
last comment.
Alderman
So,
Brennan.
I lastly just want to comment that I get the fact that this may not be perfect. I think directionally it's the right way to go. I think our intent is to get a handle of what's going on in our town and be very measured in the actions that we take. I ask for your support for this report. Because quite honestly, voting no on this report means that we go back to no regulation. So I think this is a good path forward. I ask for your support. And I hope you can sense, everybody that's still here, that I'm very interested in getting this right. And I know the chief is as well as everyone else at the city. And I appreciate your support. Thank you.
All right. So discussion on the motion. Alderman Bram, did you?
No, I was just trying to communicate that, yes, we are talking about the motion itself and not the basis of the report.
All right, very good. Well, we're on the motion on to approve the report now. No?
I thought it was more comment, so sorry.
That's all right. Are we good? All right. All right, so on the report, any other discussion?
As amended.
As amended. All right, seeing none, Alderman Bram.
All right, I will speak to it a little bit here. I do want to thank everybody who has come out, and as Alderman Brennan has stated about this topic already, and I will just reiterate to a certain degree, is that I think that right now we have nothing, and I think what is proposed is something. It's not something that maybe everybody likes, but it is something that at least gives some teeth to our police department to enforce better than what we have today. I will say that the stories today have rocked me a little bit. I did not know that the issues that were going throughout town on short-term rentals were as drastic in some cases that were stated this evening. So thank you for that, because that was and is eye-opening to me. Also, with my very in-depth, I'm saying that kind of tongue-in-cheek a little bit, but research in regards to Airbnbs, it is concerning to me to see what is currently listed in Elmhurst. And I jotted down a few examples. This one residence has 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms out of those 3 bedrooms, and is advertising 8 guests. Another one has 4 bedrooms with 4 beds, advertising for 10 guests. And the one that really threw me for a loop is one that has 6 bedrooms. Congrats to anybody who has a 6-bedroom house. But has 15 beds as advertised. And that is scary to me, and that does set off alarms, right? 15 beds, just make an assumption, and I know this is speculative, but make an assumption that two people are in those 15 beds, now you have 30-plus possible tenants in this Airbnb, and that's a huge concern. And I want to thank Alderman Brennan for his statement tonight, albeit he may have rocked the chief of police back there a little bit in regards to the amendment of asking for a review quarterly. But I think that is very important, because even though this is a small step, it is a step in the right direction. And as I stated, seeing a 6-bedroom house listed for 15 beds is crazy to me. And that is something that we need to keep a close eye on. I'm not saying that that individual, whoever owns this property, is doing anything wrong or their intent is wrong, but that definitely, no matter if they're the best tenants possible, is going to cause issues in the neighborhood, in my own opinion. I would like to ask the chair if he wouldn't mind adding, and I don't know where, Mr. Mayor, in this report, of adding an amendment somewhere stating that we will be doing a quarterly review of short-term rentals. I don't know where the appropriate paragraph would be, but if I will ask the mayor to kind of ask the chair if that is something that would be amendable.
The chair of the committee or the chair of the council?
Well, we're never supposed to speak to another alderman, so the chair of the council, being yourself, asking the chair of the committee.
Comment, chair?
I'm fine with commenting. So, you know, from my perspective, yeah, maybe I wish it was in the report, but I can assure you, you know, the agenda at the PA&S, you know, committee level is at my discretion. So I am committing to doing that. I don't, you know, I'm saying it in front of everybody here. I don't think it's necessary to update the report.
All right, additional discussion. Alderman Irby.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to appreciate or give a big, sincere thanks to the Public Affairs and Safety and the chair, the two of us bringing this together and making this referral. It's been a long time. It's been I think we put that out, Chair, what, June, July? So we're coming up on close to a year. And I've been listening to the 4 properties that contact me on a regular basis. The neighbors are on those 4 properties. I feel your pain. I hear your pain. And I want to stay involved. Just like the chair said, this is important. We want to get it right. And so I am committed to do that as well. And I just want to thank you for coming out and doing that, because I don't know all the pain and suffering and all the issues. So by that engagement that you guys come on a regular basis, either call me or anyone else on council, and we engage with you, that's why we're here on council, is to have that. Otherwise, I shouldn't be on council. If I cannot advocate or repair or remediate, what's the point? So that's our main function of this body. That said, let me state equivocally on my any conflict of interest with respect to this point tonight. I do not own any Airbnb or short-term rental properties anywhere in any state, not on this planet, and I live on this planet. So that's clear. I have never stayed at an Airbnb or a short-term rental. I was approached when this referral did come up, and it was put on council and it was voted. I was immediately contacted by the vice president of Airbnb, contacted via email. I did not have a discussion with them, but I do want to disclose that email came inbound. I did not ask for that, but that came automatically. I also had some other companies reach out to want me to learn how to make an ordinance to regulate this in some fashion. I declined all those. I did not respond to those emails. I have no conversations with anybody other than someone on council or on staff about short-term rentals. So I feel like I have a very clear conscience on that issue. So I want to make sure you guys understand that I have no connection whatsoever and that I have no conflict of interest. I'm going to sleep very well tonight, no matter what the vote is on this. So into the discussion where we are. Again, I have 100% with the chair that this is a framework that is needed. It's been needed for before we even had the referral. So I'm very appreciative that we have that framework tonight. It's not a perfect framework, as the chair has admitted. I will admit it. I think all of us in the room here will admit it's not the perfect framework, but it is a piece of framework that we can go forward with. We will be looking at it quarterly. I will hold the chair accountable. He will hold me accountable. The rest of the council will hold me accountable. We will be reviewing the data. We'll be getting that information, and we will make the tweaks that the chair has mentioned. So I have trust in that. I would like everybody in Elmhurst to have trust in that. It's difficult, especially when you're in pain and you're having these issues. So it's going to take a lot of patience on both sides, more on your side than mine. If I got into the details of where we have to be cautious, is we heard some of that in the public speaking night, commercial versus non-commercial operations. By definition, we will be filing the Airbnb or the short-term rental property will be applying for a business license under Chapter 31. Secondly, we have no zoning or conditional use right now. So most of the jurisdictions that have prohibited short-term rentals are using it as a land use case, meaning that you have to have this property, this use, as approved in the conditional use of your zoning and defined. And then once you do that, then you can say, well, in R1, R2, all our residential zones, that it's okay to have a short-term rental property in that residential zone. We don't have that today. So these are things that we're going to have to carefully move forward with so that we do have that. So that takes me to the occupancy part. We heard some of that with Alderman Bram. We've heard some of that in the comments of the home has 20 people, 30 people, or it has 12 people, whatever. So in our current zoning code and our residential, all codes have a max occupancy of 8. In the report tonight, we exceed 8 as soon as the 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, and 6-bedroom occur at 9, 11, and 13 respectively for those occupants. So I think we'll have to be careful watching that, figuring out how we're going to code our new ordinance here to where it doesn't, somehow it's going to have to dovetail with our zoning code and the max occupancies of those zones. Most of us here in this room probably live in either an RE, an R1, or an R2. That picks up the majority of the homes in Elmhurst. So that's the occupancy piece that I'd like to make sure we're careful on. Secondly, the safety. We talked, Alderman Bram mentioned the number of bedrooms and the safety for our fire. So in section G of the report tonight, it talks about the safety, meaning we'll do an inspection. We'll make sure that property's safe. We'll have to be careful exactly when that inspection occurs. When is it appropriate to have another inspection? And that leads into what exactly is the fire code that we'll be using for this report. Right now, we don't have that defined. So another careful item we'll have to examine as we codify and go forward. The reason I mention that is because there's 2 sets of codes for fire. There's the International Residential Code, and there's the International Building Code. One's obviously for residential, and one's for business. Business is for the commercial side, and that takes me back that we have to be careful with that commercial versus are we running a home business next door. So we have another set of codes, like in Hinsdale, when they
Alderman
restrict.
Irby, I know this is an important topic, but, you know, there's a 5-minute limitation, as you know, in debate for each person, so you're about at 10. So, and remember, direct your comments to the chair and to your council members. But
Okay,
if
thank
you
you.
could,
Do I have any more, do I need to shut down now, or are you giving me any leniency?
well, it's not like last call or anything, but, I mean, if you have a minute or more, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I can wrap it up.
All right, please, thank you.
So I think the fire code is important in that even when you get to the residential code, if we don't know there's a manufactured I-joist in our current code with residential on that specific property, that automatically fires an automatic fire sprinkler system if we find a manufactured I-joist on that. So the only way to find that is through an inspection. So I think those are the key points. I'm going to support it as the report tonight with the condition that the chair and I are going to look at this quarterly and the rest of the council, and that I will be able to we'll all have access to that. And that means that we will be able to tweak this properly to solve these problems that we've heard here tonight. And so if you would indulge us with that, this report will have my support, and we shall, I'm hoping, move forward, and I'm encouraged that the chair has made these changes appropriately, and I think that wraps it up. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Chair.
All right, any other discussion? All right, Alderman Nudera.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm cautiously optimistic that what PANS has done is going to take a step forward. And I think what we're saying here is that we've got to monitor, because it's a start. And so we're putting some boundaries, and we've got to continue to look at our residents and do what's best for them. So I hope that we can follow through with the quarterly reports and do what's right. Thank you.
All right, Alderman Vestito.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to reiterate your comment where you thank the public for their comments today on both sides of the issue, because I learned a lot. It's not something that I've really discussed too much with citizens, so I was happy to get all the information tonight. And I do think for most, well, I know, for most Elmhurst residents, our homes are our largest assets, and we on this dais have an obligation to protect those assets. And to protect the home values in Elmhurst. So I appreciate the thought that the committee put into this important issue, and I appreciate the chair's commitment to reassessing. And as he said, this is just a start. There's a commitment to get it right, and I think that's important that the public heard that today. So thank you.
All right, anyone else? Alderman Varamus.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to all the folks that came out to provide public comment. I know it's not easy to stand up there and share stories, but I certainly appreciated hearing them. I'm going to be supporting the report tonight so that we have regulations in place, but also with the understanding that this is going to be continuously reviewed by Public Affairs and Safety. And so thank you to the committee, and thank you for committing to do that.
All right, Alderman Nardini.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm newly off Public Affairs and Safety, but I was involved in the drafting of this report, and I am in support. And I want to point out pretty much what a lot of others have done as well, is but for the 700 block of South Hillside and Todd Sherman, but for Ryan and Leslie Leitner, but for Hunter, whose last name I don't know, we wouldn't be here talking about this. So you guys are doing your jobs. Thank you. You guys are also, it's risk less for us. It's right next door for you guys. So I appreciate your attention. I appreciate your demands of the city. I am confident that the tool that this report is giving Chief McLean and the occupancy requirement is going to pay dividends, and I will be supporting this report.
Alderman Hill.
Thank you, Mayor. I as well was involved in the crafting of this report on PANS, which I'm also no longer on, but I do want to say, I think hearing some of the comments and being aware of these short-term rentals in an HOA that I was on and that had short-term rentals in it, I think there's some things here that are going to be game changers. I hope that, for instance, many times the hosts of these do not exactly have a clear sense of what's going on at the property. So item M is of particular importance to me, and I'm glad it's in there. Owners of short-term rentals shall have an operable exterior video monitoring system at the property. And I really like that idea as a way to check on the activity. For those of you that have, exterior doorbell cameras, you might know that they could be set to, you can be notified when people are coming in and out of the house, what activity is going on within the defined zone in front of the house. So I think that is a good mechanism by which we could make hosts aware of what activity is going on at their property. They can check to see what the parking is like, who's coming in, who's going out. So I think there's a lot of small pieces like this that maybe might be overlooked in a quick scan, but are actually going to be very useful tools, nay, requirements at these properties that might help the host be much more accountable. And I, for one, have high hopes that when they see this list of requirements, that they will realize their accountability, right? They can't say, I didn't know what was going on. We have a video camera here. You can check to see what's going on. You can see the ingress of people to the structure. You can put one on the front door, on the side door, and so on. So there's other things like that are in here. I don't want to point out every one, but I want you to know that we did what we thought was due diligence to take the first step towards protecting homeowners and also making responsible hosts in Elmhurst.
All right. And let me remind all the council members, direct your discussion, the deliberations for the council, direct your comments to the chair. If you want to refer to the audience, refer to them in the third person for the proper decorum. Okay. Additional comments, discussion? All right, I think Alderman Irby.
Yeah, just a point of clarity I forgot during my first 11 or 12 minutes that I took, and I appreciate the mayor giving me this.
You don't get 10 more.
No, I'm going to just make this real quick. The 4 properties that I've been monitoring and hearing from tie back to one of the comments, and that relates to the commercial. Those 4 properties are all owned by LLCs. Schaumburg has tweaked their system, and I'm not sure we're going to get there, but the point is, if we're going to look at what's going on, we're going to look at the data, we're going to look what other towns have done, they do not allow any short-term rentals from corporations, whether LLCs, S-corps, Incs. They're not allowed, period. The 4 properties that I know that are causing problems, the minimum is 9 properties owned by that LLC, and the maximum is 11 properties owned by those LLCs. So that point that was brought up is very critical, that those people that own those LLCs do not live here. I know where they live. They do not live here. And I want to make sure that we understand that we're talking about 2 types of rentals. One that we heard first, and then we're hearing about the problems over there. And I think that's critical as we go forward to keep an awareness of that ownership model so that we can get that good data and make the right decisions on these 2 different types of ownership models. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to call the vote at this point.
Verimas?
Aye.
Bellinger?
Aye.
Schenko?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Graham?
Aye.
Jensen? Toledo absent. Baker?
Aye.
Nudera?
Aye.
Virgil?
Aye.
Nardini?
Aye.
Bastido?
Aye.
Irby?
Aye.
Brennan?
Aye.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent. The report is adopted. I just want to add 2 quick things. One is, if anyone is having any problems in their neighborhood, and I was disappointed if a dispatcher would say that that's what verbos are for, I'm sorry, VRBO, whatever you like, call 911. We don't have a separate non-emergency number. We have one number, whether it's emergency or not, and the dispatcher will determine whether it's an emergency in fact or not. Second is, I do I feel like the efforts of the committee have been minimized. They've spent a lot of time looking at this. There's been a lot of hard work, a lot of data gathered, so it's kind of like, well, this is something, no, this is the right solution for right now. And I appreciate the chair's commitment to continue to monitor it, because this is where we start, and we'll see where we go. And again, we've heard a lot of good anecdotal evidence that's important for us to know. All right. I don't know what to do with the agenda. Okay, we're on to reports and recommendations of appointed elected officials. Mayor Levin, on Monday, May 26th at 9:30 a.m. will be our 107th annual Memorial Day Parade. Grand Marshal Sergeant Richard Duzenkas, U.S. Army Cavalry Scout, OIF veteran, explore Elmhurst on behalf of the City of Elmhurst in cooperation with the Veterans Commission, American Legion THB Post 187. The Elmhurst Park District will host the 107th Annual Parade, and there will be an event following that will begin at 9:30. I take it the parade and the event don't start at 9:30?
Parade steps off at 9:30.
All right, so usually it's probably about 10:30, 11. Please join us. It's a very important event. For elected officials and for the public to know, and other council members, the DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference drive down to advocate for municipal legislative priorities. Alderman Shenko, Nardini, and Nudera will be coming along with me and City Manager for a fun and festive day of lobbying to let our legislators and others know what our priorities for the City of Elmhurst and other DuPage counties, municipalities. And last, some of the aldermen joined us today when we rolled out our new fire engine number 2. They call it the backing in ceremony. That we were fortunate enough to obtain a grant for $850,000 from State Senator Susie Glowiak, who was there. I'm glad that we got it when we did. I'm glad we got the grant when we did. I think it's probably well over, I think someone told me it's $1.1 million for the same fire engine today. We needed it. The state grant came through just when we needed it. So those are my announcements, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. 2 items tonight. The first is that this Friday, May 9th, we are going to close City Hall so that we can do some staff training and at the same time implement a scheduled software upgrade. So our permitting, license, and inspection system will begin an upgrade on Thursday evening, and that will take all the way until Sunday to do. So unfortunately, we won't be able to accommodate permits, inspections, and licensing systems. So we thought merging the two together, closing City Hall, doing some staff training would be a good way to kind of take care of both of those. Normal operations will resume on Monday, May 12th, so we appreciate everyone's cooperation and understanding to make those improvements. And then secondly, at your spot on the dais tonight, we had this flyer, which our staff has put together regarding e-bikes and scooters regulations in Elmhurst and a little bit, I guess, in the state of Illinois. We've fielded quite a few questions. I believe aldermen have had questions as well about where and when and how old do people have to be to ride scooters. So these are regulations that we know of. I've shared this with surrounding municipalities as well, thanks to our staff for putting this together, because that seems to be a little bit of a problem rearing ahead right now. So that's what I have for tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Keep losing the agenda. Here they are. All right. Is there any other business to be brought before the council? Alderman Hill?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say a little more on the city manager's comments on e-scooters. As somebody who owns an electric motorcycle and rides a motorcycle and has done so most of my adult life, I would, and also has children that are watching their peers ride, young children watching them ride electric scooters across town in often dangerous situations, often without helmets. I am very concerned about the number of youth I'm seeing operating high-speed electric vehicles. I've heard from these children, as they probably incorrectly shouldn't have relayed their story to me, how easy it is to modify these vehicles, to remove the governors and other speed limiters on them to make them go even faster. And I don't know, I guess I want to use this opportunity on the dais to implore adults to rethink those purchases for their children or letting their children use those devices, because even I, as an electric motorcycle owner, will not be getting my children e-scooters, maybe not even, I want them to pedal anyway, so probably not pedal assist bicycles. But with all that being said, it clearly lays out in the document we've received that also those e-scooters are not legal in the city of Elmhurst. So
they are.
Just wanted to reiterate that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any other announcements? See none, may I have a motion to adjourn? Motion, Alderman Nardini, second Alderman Jensen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good night.